When Amar told her friend's mother that she needed a strong charm that could destroy her sister's union, her friend's mother, the witch, promised to make Amar a strong charm, but only on the condition that Amar would approve her kind of black magic in the land of Bala once she got rid of her sister and became queen. The witch said that because the kind of charm Amar wanted had to be made through a different kind of magic, and King Uche had forbidden and banned that kind of black magic years before Amar was born. Because Amar's heart was filled with envy, jealousy, and desperation to destroy her sister's union and get rid of her sister, she agreed to the witch's condition. Once she agreed, the witch told Amar to return in 2 days for the charm because she had to travel to a distant land to get all the ingredients needed to make the charm. Pleased with what she had heard, Amar left her friend's house and returned to the palace. By the time Amar returned to the palace, Ngozi and her husband-to-be had already left the king's chambers, and even her father, King Uche, was attending to another set of guests. Earlier that day, when Amar dashed out of the palace in anger after hearing about Ngozi's engagement to Eto, she did not know that there was a part of the conversation between King Uche, Ngozi, and Eto that she did not hear about. As soon as she left, Eto told King Uche that he had something to say, and it was about Ngozi's physique. When the king asked him to speak, Eto told the king that he had been secretly searching for a cure for Ngozi from the first week he met her. Earlier that day, he got information from a reliable source that there was a sacred river tucked deep within a distant forest of Uza that could cure Ngozi and make her normal. Then he asked for the king's permission to take Ngozi there himself. That wasn't the first time King Uche had heard of the sacred river of Uza. Uza was a village that shared borders with the village of Bala, and it was rumored to have a sacred river that could cure all kinds of diseases, sicknesses, and even deformities, leaving people in their true form. It was also rumored that everyone who dipped their body 7 times in the river of Uza on a full moon would be instantly cured. However, the only problem was that no one knew how to find the sacred river of Uza, because the river only revealed itself to those in dire need. When Ngozi was around 10 years old, the same age her abnormal growth became evident, King Uche traveled with some of his guards to search for the sacred river in the land of Uza. They searched and combed all the forest of Uza, but after spending weeks trying to find a solution for Ngozi, he returned empty-handed. At that time, the sacred river was his last option to help his daughter, Ngozi, be like a normal child, but when he couldn't find it, he lost all hope. As soon as Eto mentioned the sacred river to King Uche, King Uche told him that the river was a myth and that he would just be wasting his time to find it because he had tried finding the river in the past years and he never found it. Despite hearing what King Uche said, Eto insisted that he wanted to give it a shot and begged for the king's permission. Seeing that Eto was determined to find help for Ngozi, King Uche approved their travel and told them to be careful. With the king's approval, Ngozi and Eto planned to travel to Uza village in 2 days. Amar was completely unaware of their plans until the morning Ngozi was set to leave, which was also the same day Amar was supposed to get the charm from the witch and use it on Ngozi. "Where are you going to so early in the morning?" Amar asked Ngozi as soon as she entered Ngozi's room. Since Amar's room was next to Ngozi's room, the noise from Ngozi moving around her room to pack things for her travel woke Amar. "It's none of your business," Ngozi responded. Already Ngozi knew her sister Amar did not like her, so there was no need for Ngozi to be and act all friendly with her. "Don't tell me you're planning to run away with that forest boyfriend of yours. You know what? You can go ahead. I won't say a word to Daddy," Amar said. "Run away?" Ngozi laughed. "Since you really want to know, we are going to the village of Uza to find the sacred river so I can be cured of this curse," Ngozi said. "You? Cured? Stop dreaming, sis. I have never seen a beast change to a human except in the folklore and myths," Amar laughed. At first, Amar laughed so hard at Ngozi because she thought Ngozi was bluffing about being cured by the sacred river of Uza. But when she saw the serious look on Ngozi's face, Amar knew she was serious. "You can't go to Uza. The people of Uza are enemies with the people of Bala. Once they know you are King Uche's daughter, they will kill you. You know that," Amar said in a stern voice, hoping to convince her sister. "What is it to you if I live or die? And when did you start caring about me?" Ngozi asked. And with that, she picked up her box and left Amar in her room. There was a horse waiting for Ngozi outside the palace, and Eto had been waiting for her too. When Ngozi's horse rode off, Amar could not believe that she allowed such important information to slip through her fingers. And she was so mad at herself because she wanted to use the charm on Ngozi that day. Shortly after Ngozi left the palace with Eto, Amar took her private horse to the witch's house. It was almost 6 a.m. and the sun barely rose, but Amar did not care. When she arrived at the witch's house, Amar was shocked to see that her charm was half ready. She was very angry that the witch was still sleeping by that time instead of working on her charm. The worst part was before the witch set out on her journey to get the ingredients for her charm, she gave Amar a set of instructions, and one of them was that Amar should not be in possession of the charm for more than 3 days because there would be repercussions. Also, it was extremely important that Amar use the charm on Ngozi. If not, Amar would run mad. The charm was originally created to make Ngozi go mad. That way, her husband-to-be, Eto, would abandon her and she would be useless to the kingdom and her father's throne. So if Amar did not use the charm on Ngozi within 3 days, she would face the consequences. After waiting for hours for the witch to finish her charm, Amar took her charm angrily and left the witch's house. She went straight to the palace and packed her bags to go to Uza village. Since Ngozi and Eto left the village of Bala that morning, Amar thought that if she followed them that same day, she would catch up with them and then use the charm on Ngozi. She even believed using the charm on Ngozi while in another village was a better plan than using it on her in the palace. That afternoon, Amar traveled to Uza with some of her personal guards and maids. Because they arrived at the Uza village very late at night, and it wasn't safe for strangers to roam another man's village late at night, Amar and her maids were forced to pause their journey so they could rest and continue the next day. Meanwhile, Eto and Ngozi arrived at Uza around 5 p.m. that evening. When they arrived, Ngozi was shocked to find out that Eto was from Uza village, their rival village, and she understood why Eto never mentioned where he came from. For more than 20 years, the villages of Bala and Uza had been fighting each other over a land that was between their borders. So the rival villagers did not like each other. The next morning, as soon as the first cock crowed, Eto and Ngozi set out to the deepest forest of Uza, where they believed they would find the sacred river. Going into the deepest and endless forest of Uza had been estimated to be a journey of 2 days. But since they had no clue how to find the sacred river, they could not estimate the number of days it would take to be in and out of that forest. By the time Amar and her maids woke up to continue searching for Ngozi that morning, Ngozi and Eto had already gone deep into the forest. So no matter what Amar did, Ngozi was effortlessly always 2 or 3 steps ahead of her. When Amar, her maids, and her guards got to the entrance of the deepest forest of Uza, her guards and maids refused to follow her into the deepest forest of Uza. Aside from being rumored to be the forest with the sacred river, that particular forest was known to be a home of wild beasts. Since hunting was forbidden in that forest, people believe that the number of wild beasts in that forest was more than the number of people in Uza village. After trying to command and persuade her maids and guards to follow her, but wasn't successful, Amar went into the forest alone, and she instructed them to wait outside there for her. For 3 days, all 3 of them journeyed deep into the forest. While Ngozi and Eto hoped to find the sacred river so Ngozi could be cured, Amar hoped to find Ngozi so she could use the charm on her. After days of searching through the forest for the sacred river, on their 4th night, which was the night of the full moon, Eto and Ngozi were sleeping in a small tent they had made when they suddenly heard the sound of flowing water. That whole day, Eto and Ngozi searched the entire area, but they couldn't find any river or sign of water. Surprised at what they had heard, Ngozi and Eto got out of their tent and followed the sound of the river. Barely 2 minutes from their tent, Ngozi and Eto saw a river they had not seen before. It was almost like the river appeared from nowhere, and they both swore that the river was not there even before they slept. Excited to finally see the river they had spent days searching for, Ngozi walked into the river and dipped herself 7 times. While she dipped herself, she prayed silently for a cure. On the 7th dip, Ngozi expected that she would walk out of the river as a different woman, but she was wrong. The sacred river of Uza only cured deformities, illnesses, and sicknesses, and revealed people's true forms. Ngozi was already living in her true form. She was not sick or deformed, so she did not even need the healing of the sacred river. All she had to do was accept that she was unique, special, and different from other people. When Eto saw the sad look on Ngozi's face, he ran into the river and hugged her tightly. I don't care what other people think or say about you. You are beautiful to me and will always be. At least we tried. This proves that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You look different, but who cares? I love everything about you, Ngozi, Uche, and will always do. Now let's go home. We have a wedding to plan, Eto said. As soon as Eto said that, Ngozi burst into tears and she hugged Eto tightly. That was all she needed to hear. That night, Ngozi slept like a baby in Eto's arms, and the following day, they began their journey back to the village of Bala. On their way out of the forest, Ngozi and Eto heard strange noises that sounded like a human voice. Out of curiosity, they decided to go and check on the person. As soon as they traced the voice, Ngozi was shocked to see her younger sister, Amar, talking to sticks and stones in a very weird manner. Amar, is that you? What are you doing here? Ngozi asked as she got off her horse to walk close to Amar. As soon as she got close, she realized something was wrong with her sister. Amar had gone mad, and she kept murmuring something about using a charm on Ngozi and stealing her throne. Seeing Amar in that terrible state really broke Ngozi's heart and made her cry. Despite the ill treatment Ngozi received from her sister, Amar, she still loved her and never wished evil for her. Thankfully, the guards and maids were still at the forest entrance, and somehow Amar had wandered on her own close to the entrance. Out of compassion, Ngozi and Eto managed to take Amar out of the forest, and they handed her to the maids and guards at the entrance. When they all returned to the palace, King Uche was sad to see his youngest daughter in that state. Ngozi, Eto, and the maids and the guards all shared their own side of their story, but the king could still not figure out why Amar had gone mad. To get to the root of her madness, King Uche called the village Dibia to find a solution to Amar's madness. Unfortunately, there was no cure for her. The Dibia revealed that Amar had brought madness upon herself, and the only way they could reverse her madness was by practicing the same black magic King Uche had banned many years ago. When King Uche heard that, he was very sad for his daughter Amar, because he was a man of his word and could not lift the ban on black magic in the land of Bala just because of her. So he ordered the guards to lock Amar in a room where she would not harm herself, and instructed her personal maids to constantly care for her. A week after Ngozi and Eto returned from Uza village, they got married, and King Uche threw a big party for their wedding. On their wedding day, King Uche crowned Ngozi as the Queen of Bala and Eto as king. That same day, King Uche renounced his title as king over the village of Bala. He did that because he was very old and he no longer had the strength to rule the village like he did in his youthful days. With her father no longer ruling as king, Ngozi became the first female queen to rule the village of Bala. Even though the people of Bala did not like her initially, they grew to love and admire her strength. In the following years, Ngozi fought and won wars for her kingdom, and she defended her kingdom from invaders just like her father did when he was king. In the later years of her reign, she became popularly known as the woman king who ruled the village of Bala with a soft heart. She became popularly known as the Woman King, who ruled the village of Bala with a soft heart and an iron fist, alongside her king. Thank you for watching.